One of the key aspects of story-based games is that they're usually relatable on some personal level. Some games do this better than others, but there is one game that many people can't relate to personally, and yet it's incredibly immersive to experience. That's because the condition we're going to talk about isn't something most people encounter every day, and it's not something to take lightly either. That game is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. A journey alongside a character who is strongly implied to suffer from psychosis. The game never states this outright. Instead, it masks it carefully, making the experience more immersive while quietly spreading awareness about mental illness. So how does this game shows us the phases of psychosis while telling a story where it's never explicitly named at all? For those who may not know, psychosis is a condition in which a person loses touch with reality, experiencing things like hallucinations and delusions, often alongside disorganized thought, speech, and behavior. It affects a person's ability to distinguish what is real from what isn't. In Senua's case, her psychosis is believed to have been passed down from her mother, who was burned alive in front of her when Senua was only 5 years old. This was done by her own father, who believed her mother had planted a curse within her, and even after that, Senua continued to suffer mental abuse at his hands, only worsening her condition over time. When Senua later met Dillion, her lover, she left her father's home, and she was able to suppress the memory of witnessing such an unforgettable and unforgivable act. She eventually exiled herself to focus on her mental health, but when she returned and discovered her lover had been sacrificed to the blood eagle, it only made everything worse. Seeing this gruesome image push her over the edge, sending her into a psychotic state, one where she believes that by taking his head to Helheim, the goddess Hela could bring his soul back. This journey became an acceptance path for Senua, because it's her way of coming to terms with the fact that she won't be able to bring her lover back. What makes this game so interesting is how it feels like you're both a passenger and the one driving the story. You hear voices constantly, and you know they're addressing Senua, but the catch is that the game subtly breaks the fourth wall and speaks to the player as well. In doing so, it quietly pulls you into what psychosis might feel like. That's why the game strongly encourages you to use headphones, because it's the best way to hear what Senua hears as well as feel what she feels inside her own mind. With all of this in mind, how does the game portray psychosis while still delivering a narrative that pushes the player forward? This is a deeply sensitive subject, but also a powerful opportunity to bring awareness to a condition that, for many people, is still considered taboo. To understand how Hellblade accomplishes this, the first thing to look at is who made it. The game was developed by Ninja Theory, made up of roughly 20 developers and led by writer and director Tamine Antoniades. On the surface, the game blends familiar mechanics like puzzle solving, psychological horror, and combat, but the true goal behind the project was much deeper. The team worked closely with neuroscientists, mental health specialists, and people living with psychosis themselves in order to bring this experience to life as accurately and respectfully as possible. The voices are a key part of this experience, which is exactly why using headphones is so important.
Stay still, stay quiet, hide, don't tell around.
Their gods can see into your mind. They will use this power to destroy you.
They won't stop me.
With them on, the voices feel like they're everywhere, some offering guidance, some creating doubt and inner conflict. For example, there's Druth, a voice that introduces itself as a liar, yet often guides Senua forward, representing her connection to Northman lore and to Dillion himself. Then there's Zinbel, the oppressive voice of Senua's abusive father, manifesting her trauma and fear, constantly degrading and undermining her. And finally, there's a narrator, a distinct voice that acknowledges the player directly, provides exposition, and frequently breaks the fourth wall, reinforcing Senua's condition in the process. One of the most dangerous aspects of psychosis is delusion. As someone who has experienced psychosis once explained, Paranoid delusions can make you believe that everyone and everything is out to get you, that offers of help are really disguised lies, meant to harm you, even when the intentions are genuine. Hellblade's entire storyline is built in this idea of delusion, the belief that traveling to Helheim, facing the goddess of death herself, and fighting through the gates of hell could somehow bring her lover back. And in the end, Senua learns the truth. She can't save him. The only path forward is acceptance. An important detail we haven't touched on yet is how the game manages to mask psychosis entirely, merging it with Norse mythology without ever naming it as such. This begins with the hallucinations. In the game, Senua's condition is treated as a curse. What she sees, what hunts her, is portrayed as a presence known as the darkness. The voices in her head are given a name as well, the Furies. To create these voices, the development team worked closely with people who experience voice hearing themselves, aiming to make them sound as realistic as possible. Senua's visual hallucinations, including her flashbacks, or the way certain parts of the world appear unnaturally bright, were also based directly on descriptions from people living with delusions. But unless you go out of your way to learn about this condition, it's easy to become fully immersed in the game and believe that all of this exists purely for narrative and mythological reasons. And when I say this is a game you might not be able to relate to on a personal level, it's still something that deserves to be experienced at least once. It places you inside Senua's mind, letting the voices guide you, while also stripping her journey of any clear sense of purpose. The monsters you face are born from her illusions, shaped into Northmen that echo the death of her lover, all while quietly teaching us the phases of psychosis along the way. It's truly a life-changing experience. The game's writer and director, Tamín Antoniades, was deeply affected by the story of a woman who lived with an angry voice screaming at her, slamming on her doors and walls 24 hours a day. Someone who would see corpses hanging in the room, so real that she would sometimes try to rescue them. That story went on to inspire several events within the game itself. So when I say this experience, this masterpiece of a game is able to tell you a powerful story while spreading awareness of mental illness, it does so in a way that's truly unforgettable. Needless to say, this game went on to win numerous awards and received widespread praise from critics, many of whom described it as a work of art. It was applauded for its rare decision to center its story around psychosis, and for the care, quality, and uniqueness of how this condition was portrayed. Its narrative, its central character, and its overall presentation were all praised for standing above what independent games are usually expected to deliver. In particular, Melina Juergens' performance as Senua was recognized as something truly special. In the end, it's definitely a story worth remembering. Please leave a comment if you feel like there was something that I missed that could help tell the story of Senua's harrowing journey of acceptance and inclusion of psychosis. And how was your journey playing Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice? I feel like this is a good video to make because it taught me a lot about this condition and it has changed my perspective, and I definitely hope to keep learning more about this condition. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you can join me in this beautiful journey of character storytelling.